I traveled constantly for work back then, and cheap hotels were just part of the routine. As long as there was a lock on the door and hot water in the shower, I didn't care. I slept anywhere without thinking twice. That changed one night in a small Pennsylvania town I can't bring myself to name. The hotel looked harmless enough. Flickering sign, faded red carpet, air that smelled faintly of dust and old perfume. The front desk clerk barely looked at me as she slid the key across the counter. Her smile was stiff, like it had been practiced too long. My room was on the 3rd floor, at the very end of the hallway. The silence up there felt wrong. Not peaceful. Emptied, like sound had been drained out. My room was plain. Single bed, desk, bathroom. One window facing a dark parking lot. I showered, watched TV, and eventually fell asleep. I woke to a soft, dragging sound. Something was moving against the floor. Slow. Careful. I held my breath, listening, until a white edge appeared beneath the door. A folded piece of paper. I picked it up with shaking hands. The note read, "I can see you when you sleep." I locked the chain and sat against the wall, heart pounding. 20 minutes passed before another note slid in. This one said, "You toss and turn more than the others." I didn't check the hallway. I didn't call the desk. I felt watched, like any movement would be noticed. When the 3rd note came, it didn't slide. It dropped. From inside the room. I turned slowly. The bathroom door was open now. I was sure I had closed it. The note read, "Don't look behind you." I ran. I don't remember unlocking the door, only the hallway lights blurring as I sprinted for the stairs. At the front desk, a different clerk listened with a blank expression. He insisted no one else was on my floor. He walked me back to the room. Nothing was disturbed, except the mirror above the desk. Written faintly in the steam from my earlier shower were fingerprints. Handprints. Pressed from the inside. As I grabbed my bag, the clerk finally spoke, his voice low. "You weren't supposed to notice," he said. The lights went out. I woke up in my car, parked miles away, keys still in the ignition. On the passenger seat was a folded piece of paper in shaky handwriting. "You sleep very deeply." I stopped at the hotel in rural Virginia because my eyes were burning and the road ahead felt endless. It was close to midnight. The building looked tired, dim exterior lights, only a handful of cars in the lot, most windows dark. Inside, the lobby smelled like stale cleaner and damp carpet. The man at the front desk didn't greet me. He slid the key across without asking my name and stared at his screen as if I was already gone. The 3rd floor hallway felt abandoned. Every door wore a "Do Not Disturb" sign, yellowed and crooked, as if they'd been hanging there for years. My room was the last one. When I stepped inside, something felt off immediately. The lamp was angled wrong. One dresser drawer was open. The blanket had a shallow dip, like someone had just stood up. I told myself it was lazy housekeeping and locked the door. Sleep didn't come easily. Around 1 a.m., I heard the doorknob turn. Slow, careful. It stopped, then tried again. I watched the shadow of the handle move against the glow of the TV. A key slid into the lock. It turned. The door pushed inward, just enough to let hallway light spill across the carpet, then closed again. I didn't move for an hour. At 2:17 a.m., I woke to soft rustling. Not outside, inside the room. I sat up, heart pounding, and saw a shape near my bag. tall, unmoving, barely darker than the darkness around it. "Who's there?" I whispered. A man's voice answered calmly, too calmly. "Housekeeping." The figure drifted toward the door and vanished. When I turned on the light, my bag was open. Things were missing. I ran to the lobby and called the police. The front desk clerk swore no housekeeping was on duty. The security footage was worse. It showed the man entering my room earlier that evening, before I checked in. Waiting, sitting on the bed, touching the blanket. Hours later, it showed him letting himself in again while I slept, standing inches from my face for nearly 10 minutes. The final clip showed something else. After I fled the room, the man returned. He stood in the doorway and stared directly into the camera. Then he smiled and held up my room key. The clerk's face went pale. "That's impossible," he whispered. "That man died here last winter." I drove until sunrise. 2 days later, my credit card was charged again, for another night. Same room. I used to work night shifts, so being awake at odd hours never bothered me. On my days off, I'd drive alone just to feel normal again. That's how I ended up at a cheap hotel in New Jersey, close to a hiking trail, exhausted enough to ignore the warning signs. The place smelled old, like dust and damp fabric. The woman at the front desk told me cheerfully that housekeeping had already finished for the night. The way she said it felt rehearsed, like it mattered more than it should. My room was on the second floor. The hallway lights flickered, and the silence felt thick, almost padded. Inside the room, everything looked clean, but wrong. The bed was perfect, yet the pillow on the chair sat crooked. A dresser drawer wasn't fully closed. It felt less like sloppy cleaning and more like someone trying to put things back the way they found them. I shrugged it off, showered, and went to sleep. Sometime after midnight, a soft dragging sound woke me. Then breathing. Slow, controlled, coming from the dark corner near the closet. I froze. When I finally forced myself to sit up, the breathing stopped instantly. The closet door, which I was sure I'd left open, was now partially closed, like someone was hiding behind it. I backed out of the room and went to the front desk. No one was there. The desk phone rang endlessly until the same woman emerged, calm and annoyed. She insisted no one else had access to rooms and suggested I switch rooms to feel better. Her tone made my skin crawl. The new room felt colder. I locked the door, checked everything twice, and lay awake. Around 1 a.m., I heard it again, the squeak of a housekeeping cart rolling slowly down the hall. It stopped outside my door. Heavy breathing followed. Then a soft pressure against the door, like a hand feeling for movement on the other side. By morning, I was shaking with exhaustion. At checkout, a man replaced the woman. When I told him what happened, his face drained of color. "There hasn't been a night housekeeper for over a week," he said quietly. "She just stopped showing up." I asked about the woman who checked me in. He frowned. "Sir, I worked alone last night. I drove away as fast as I could. 2 weeks later, I checked my bank statement. The hotel had charged me for an extra night. Attached to the receipt was a handwritten note scanned into the system. Housekeeping confirmed occupied."